Sometimes, the best way to learn English is to follow someone else's mistake and laugh a little while you do. This story is a perfect example of that. So sit back, listen closely, and enjoy learning through a real travel mess. He had been dreaming of visiting the Leaning Tower of Pisa since he was a kid. There was just something about that famous tilted building that made it look like it had a personality of its own. On this trip to Italy, he finally had a chance to see it up close. That morning, he left his hotel in Florence early. He had checked online for the best way to get to Pisa and decided to take a bus. He liked buses more than trains. They moved slower, so he could look out the window and enjoy the view. He arrived at the bus terminal, found a line that mentioned Pisa, and got on. The bus was comfortable, the driver smiled, and the route on the screen seemed close enough. He leaned back, put in his earbuds, and imagined himself taking silly photos with the tower, pretending to hold it up with one hand, just like everyone does. About 30 minutes into the ride, he started to get confused. He looked out the window, expecting more buildings, more signs, more tourists. But instead, all he saw were empty fields, small houses, and a few cows. The bus wasn't slowing down. It wasn't stopping at tourist spots. It was speeding up. He leaned over to ask the person next to him, an older man who was reading a newspaper. "Excuse me, is this bus going to the Leaning Tower?" The man looked up and smiled kindly, but didn't speak English. He simply pointed forward and nodded. That didn't help much. The bus continued for another 10 minutes, then finally stopped at a small, quiet station. Everyone got off. He followed the crowd, pulling out his phone to check the map. But his signal was weak. The GPS spun in circles. He walked around the station. There were no tourists, no signs, no souvenir shops, no tower. He finally spotted a small snack bar and walked in. The woman behind the counter greeted him in Italian. He smiled nervously and asked, "Pisa? Leaning Tower?" She laughed a little and shook her head. No, you take wrong bus. This is Pisa Village, not Pisa City." His heart sank. He didn't even know there was a Pisa Village. How could there be two? The woman handed him a bottle of water and pointed at the nearby bus stop. "Wait bus, back. Then new bus to Pisa Central. Then walk." He sat down on a bench, still holding the water. He looked at the sky and sighed. He wasn't angry, just a little embarrassed. But also, this was kind of funny. Who takes the wrong bus to the most famous tower in Italy? After waiting for nearly an hour, a different bus arrived. He double-checked with the driver this time. "Pisa City?" he asked. The driver nodded, amused. Yes. Tower." The ride back was quiet. When he finally arrived at the real city of Pisa, it was late afternoon. He followed the crowd through narrow streets until he saw it. The famous tower, leaning proudly like it had been waiting for him all day. He didn't even take the photo right away. He just stood there smiling, feeling proud that he made it, even if it took a little longer than expected. And yes, he still did the classic pose, holding the tower up with one hand, because after all that, he deserved it. Did you enjoy the ride? While following this story, you probably picked up new travel vocabulary, past tense verbs, and real-world expressions. That's the power of storytelling. You learn naturally, without even noticing. If this story made you smile, or reminded you of a time you got lost, stick around. More language-filled adventures are coming your way.